everyone, it's Tawnie with Tawnie Talks. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and welcome to today's Tawnie Talks. Let's go ahead and go into our fishbowl of questions and see who we can help today. Today's question asks, Dear Tawnie, I want to get my child a phone, but I don't know if I should or not, and I don't know when a good age to get my child a phone is. Please help. What a great question. And it's no accident that I happen to be wearing a lifeguard visor because as parents, we are our children's lifeguards. And so it's important to tackle this question with a lot of critical thinking skills and truly thinking about putting the safety of our children first. When is it a good time to get a child a cell phone? And I'm sure a lot of parents have the same type of questions. Well, being our children's lifeguard, we really need to take into consideration here the age, the maturity level, and the trustworthiness of the child here. So, speaking from personal experience, I believe that age 12 to 13 is an appropriate age to start thinking about giving your child a cell phone. I think they need to demonstrate a few things before you make this decision. Are they trustworthy? Are they responsible? Do they have good boundaries? Are they able to say no to temptation or to negative peer pressure? Are they able to think critically through their choices? Have they proven to you that they can handle the responsibility of a cell phone? I do want to share my personal experience and the research that I've done before getting my child a cell phone. So prior to getting my child a cell phone, I found myself in a quandary. I didn't want to get my child a cell phone. I didn't think that she needed a cell phone, but I also saw that a lot of her peers were using the cell phone as a way and a means to communicate to one another. Also, being in group text messaging if she's in a school social club and there's a group text that needs to go out to inform everybody of what to wear for the next day or what they're going to be talking about the next group meeting. I just found that it was a lot easier for her to have a cell phone, at least with texting ability, so that she could be in communication with that. Now, there are other alternatives to this, such as WhatsApp or email, or you can always provide a parental phone number so that the child can use that phone number as well. But personally for me, I felt that it was important for her to have her own way of communicating with her peers and to show some responsibility with that. I did trust my child. She had proven to be responsible, trustworthy, with good boundary settings for herself, confidence, and the ability to say no to peer pressure. So with all that in mind, I decided to get my child a cell phone. Also, it made things a lot easier with car line and picking up, dropping off, when meetings were going to end, when I could get ready to go ahead and pick her up. Prior to this, her friends were so kind to allow her to use their cell phones to go ahead and give me a call. And she was very responsible with that. And so I decided it was time for her to get her own cell phone. Now, before I got her a cell phone, I went ahead and did a lot of research on whether I needed to just add a line to my current cell phone or if there were other cell phone companies I could switch to. I also looked into different types of phones that were geared towards children, such as the Gab, the Bark phone, those types of subscription services for children. And what I ultimately settled on was the Bark phone. And I'm going to tell you why I enjoyed the Bark phone. Now, this is not an ad for the Bark phone. I'm not being sponsored by them. This is just pure personal experience. So with the Bark phone, you have a couple of choices and plans. You can choose a plan that will allow you to have internet access and apps, or you can choose a plan with no internet and no apps. I happened to choose the plan that was best for my family, and that was the plan with the Bark phone that was just calls, text messaging, no internet, no apps, but it did have GPS location enabled on it. So with the phone that Bark provided, I really liked it because it looked like a regular cell phone. It didn't look any different than the cell phones that my daughter's friends were using. I'm going to go ahead and show you her phone. It's off right now and we do have a case for it, but it's a Samsung phone and it just looks like a regular cell phone. It's touch screen. She blends in with her other friends while she's using it. She doesn't have the internet. She doesn't have any apps. It's truly just text messaging, calling and receiving phone calls, and I know where she is with the GPS monitoring. Some of the other features I really like with the Bark phone is that you have the ability to control her screen time. You might be wondering to yourself, why do I need to control a child's screen time when there's no apps or internet? Well, because, for example, bedtime routines, you have the ability to turn off her ability to text anybody. You have the ability to create emergency contacts, and these are people such as parents or loved ones, responsible adults that she can contact at any time in an emergency during school hours. You have an ability to turn on or off the camera. You have an ability to know who her contacts are. She can request to add a contact to her phone, and you get the authority to either approve or not approve the contact. My favorite thing by far, though, with the Bark phone is that if she's texting a friend, and let's say, for example, the friend says to her, I'm having a really off day, I'm feeling sick today, I need to go take my medication. I then get an alert to my phone, and you can adjust the alerts accordingly to whatever you find is beneficial for you, but I can get an alert to my phone that sends me a screenshot of what the texting is about, and sometimes it'll say medical content being talked about or something like that, and it just kind of gives me a heads up like there's something being discussed right now about medical stuff, and I get to go into my phone and read the text message thread and determine if it's appropriate or not appropriate. There have also been times where she's gotten inappropriate messages and it'll alert me about something, and I'll go ahead and look at that, and we'll have a nice conversation and say, hey, you know what, sit down, let's talk about where did this go wrong, what was appropriate about this, what was inappropriate about this, and what are you going to do about this? Are you going to address this with this person that sent you this text message? And so it's a lot of really good problem solving. It brings us closer. It's a great bonding conversation, and it allows her the opportunity to confront a peer in a very productive way, a healthy way, and say, hey, you know what, that text message you sent me wasn't very appropriate. This is why, and here's what's going to happen. So based on whatever the consequences or interactions and boundaries you discuss with your child, or ones that she comes up with herself, she then can either choose to block the person from her phone, not receive text messages or calls, or just not engage anymore. And you know, it's really, really a wonderful thing that the Bark phone allows us parents to have. I feel like I know where my child is. If she has arrived at a place, I will get an alert on my phone saying your child has arrived here or she's left a place. The same alert goes off. I can track her at any time. I can create her screen time and control who texts her, who doesn't text her, who's trustworthy, who's not trustworthy, who's a contact, a safe contact, and who's not. But again, my favorite thing is that if the app senses anything, and this technology is amazing with the Bark app, I really do have to say, if they sense anything that might be a little bit too personal or something they would deem as a red flag, you get a screenshot of the text thread of exactly what's being discussed, and it allows you to communicate that with your child, to process it together, to go over boundaries, expectations, and rules, and it allows your child to go ahead and have that conversation with their peer if it was something inappropriate being discussed. It might be completely harmless, like my child would say to her friend, oh, I hear that you're sick and I want to pray for you, and I'll get an alert that someone's discussing someone being sick. And it could be just as harmless as that. But it's so nice to be able to have some sort of control and some sense of what's going on in your child's life. Personally, I don't recommend giving your child a phone with internet, easy apps, especially if you're not monitoring it. At minimum, you should be monitoring your child's app use and what kind of apps they're using, what they're communicating about. And if you're not monitoring it, I suggest that you start. Screen times, I believe, are really, really important as well. I also recommend that if you have a child and they're on the computer and they have their own computer, that you have them sit at the table with the screen face towards you, just so you can kind of monitor what's going on in their interactions, because there's so many, unfortunately, predators out there that will disguise themselves as somebody they're not, will befriend your child. And unfortunately, I've personally counseled clients who have had unfortunate things happen because someone had access to their child that they did not know who this person was, and their child thought it was somebody that was not the person they thought that was, right? Like they thought it was a friend and it wasn't, it was somebody completely different. So to be able to monitor what your child's doing, who they're interacting with, you are their first lifeguard. And so it's really important for you to be in control. And parents, don't be afraid to take control and have authority over who your children are speaking to, who they're allowing into their lives, who they're being influenced by. You are their parent and you have the authority to oversee the conversations that they're having with people that you might not feel safe with and that they might not feel safe with, and be able to process these conversations with them. If your child is having a bad day and you're asking them, hey, how was your day? And they're like, fine. Did anything interesting happen? No, not really. It's time for you to kind of delve into that a little bit, because maybe they're not communicating with you. And parents, it's really important to have active listening with your kids. If they start talking to you about something and they're not really telling you the whole story, it's your responsibility to read around what they're saying. Maybe they're having a bad day and they look kind of sad and they might say, oh, so-and-so didn't hang out with me today. Well, that's your cue to say, oh, tell me more about that. How did that make you feel when so-and-so didn't hang out with you? Did you feel sad? Did you feel left out? What were you able to do about it? Were you able to find some other friends to sit with? Were you able to ask so-and-so why they didn't sit with you? So it's a great conversation starter to check in with your kids and really have that active listening. Now with the bark phone, if you were to get flagged with a conversation that the bark phone thinks is a red flag, what a great opportunity for you to sit down with your child and explore that a little bit and have a conversation started with them. Hey, I got notified on the phone that you were discussing this with so-and-so. Can we talk about it? I think it's always wonderful to be able to have as many deep conversations with your child as possible. And it doesn't have to be sitting down at a table. It truly can be in the car, on your way somewhere, going for a walk around the neighborhood, just checking in with your child and letting them know that you care about them, that you care about what's going on in their lives, and that you're ready to listen. Some parents might think that it's invasive to check your child's text messages and to check who their friends are and check their GPS location. And I completely understand that. We truly want our children to be independent, critical thinkers too. But we as parents need to be the ones to teach them how to think critically. We need to be the ones to help them learn boundaries and to know who's a safe friend and who isn't a safe friend. And so we have to express our authority, our wisdom, and our knowledge in these areas to be able to teach them that. And once they've demonstrated a pattern of being trustworthy, knowledgeable, that they have critical thinking skills, that they are able to say no to temptation and to think for themselves, then you can relax a little bit. But up until then, and if they haven't demonstrated that, then it's your job to go ahead and take charge, be their lifeguard, and teach them those skills. And it's not invading their privacy, it's truly caring about them and wanting them to have good boundary setting for themselves to protect them for the future. A concerned parent is a caring parent. And so at dinner time, I recommend everybody put their phone down, put all the electronics away, and truly sit down, have the conversations, check in with each other at dinner time, ask how your day was. Everyone gets a turn to talk. Those dinner time conversations I feel are so important. And I know that with our busy lives, not every family has a chance to do that. But being the lifeguard here, as a parent, I want you to make that a priority in your life, to truly check in heart to heart with your child and truly ask them how their day's going, what's going on, who their friends are. Get to know their friends. Get to know who they're spending time with and who they're being influenced by. The other thing, while we're on the topic of saying no to temptation, is I want parents to really think about the trends that their children are following, okay? I know there's trends out there with the tween stages, high school stages, of certain types of shoes that everyone wants to get, certain types of water bottles, certain types of leggings, or the type of lunch bag your child carries to school. Well, my friends are doing it, so why can't I? And I want you to be careful with this type of thinking and teach them critical thinking skills that Just because everyone else is doing something doesn't mean that you have to. You don't need to follow trends. You can set your own trends. And that when everyone follows a certain trend because somebody popular is doing it, what you're really doing by copying that person is just showing everyone and broadcasting that you're a follower too, that you're going to follow the trend and follow this person just because you thought they were cool and they did it. Let's challenge our children to be the ones to set trends, to bulk at trends, to say just because you might like it doesn't mean I have to. And I certainly don't have to like what you like or buy what you like to be in the in crowd and be cool. I'm a critical thinker. I can wear what I want to wear that's comfortable for me and drink whatever water bottle I want that's good for me. I mean, truly, the point of it is getting liquids down your system, right? So teach our children to be critical thinkers that they don't have to follow trends, because it's so important at this age for our kids to not need or feel like they need to keep up with the Joneses, right? Back in the day, keeping up with the Joneses was looking out the street and seeing if your neighbor had a new car. Nowadays, keeping up with the Joneses is in your hand. You've got all the social media. You've got all the peer pressure from school. We don't need that. Our children go through enough pressure as it is. Teach them to be critical thinkers. Teach them to be the ones that bulk at trends. Teach them to set their own trends, that they don't have to follow anything at all, but be themselves. And being themselves is the most perfect type of trend to be. Just be yourself. Isn't that the true flex? The flex of just being yourself and not caring what anybody else thinks and not caring about having to impress anybody else. So, to sum it all up, do I recommend children get phones? Yes, after they've proven trustworthiness, dependability, good critical thinking skills, being able to say no to temptation, being able to say no to peers, and being able to use a phone responsibly. And I do recommend that children not have a phone till probably about age 12 or 13. And if you're going to give them a phone, really do your research and think about all the phone options there are out there. There are a lot of dangers that come with a regular phone with no filters, no monitoring on it. I mean, the access to negative images and inappropriate pictures and really toxic type of interactions are out there. So being able to choose a phone that will protect your children and their mental health is so important. And that's why I personally chose the Bark phone for my family. I truly have nothing negative to say about it. It was a good investment for me and my family, and I chose the one with no internet, just phone calls and text messages, camera ability, and GPS monitoring. And that was what I chose for me. So again, this is not a paid sponsored ad for the Bark phone. This is from pure personal experience that worked for me and my family. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you found it helpful, don't forget to do the little finger. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button, click like, share with a friend who might need to hear these words today. And if no one's told you yet today, I want you to know how special, how wonderful, how unique you are. There's no one like you in the whole entire world. I mean, think about that. In this whole universe, the whole world, there's only one you. And I want you to reflect on that, and I want you to have an amazing day. And I'll see you next time.